Hey mommies, how are you? So I wanted to bring a subject today which probably you have been battling with a little bit, which is the whole fertility during your breastfeeding journey. Like a lot of people say, I hear both sides, that there is no way, absolutely no way that you can get pregnant if you're exclusively breastfeeding your baby. And then other people say the opposite. They have to be really careful, that you have to be super cautious. In fact, usually when you go to like your 6-week checkup, your gynecologist will always recommend that you start taking some sort of other contraceptive or some oral contraceptive, like the mini pill and stuff like that, just in case, because there is a possibility that you can get pregnant. So I just wanted to explain how it works because it can be a little bit confusing. And the reason why I'm in both my breastfeeding journeys, I'm now 6 months postpartum, and with my first son with Samuel, it was completely effective. And the reason why it was completely effective, and maybe the accidents that happen, are because you're not exclusively breastfeeding, or you're not breastfeeding enough. Because the way that it works, just to explain it really briefly, I just wanted everybody to understand it, because I know it can be a little bit confusing, mommy. So what happens is prolactin is the hormone that's going to control how fertile you are. In fact, what happens also during that postpartum period, usually the first 6 months, is in fact sex drive can get really, really low, because prolactin is responsible for controlling fertility. So your libido can really go down when you're exclusively breastfeeding, and that's why you don't have any sex drive or anything like that. And the reason why that also is because during that period of time, you're not, like I said, there's other things happening in your body, and what's going to really, really spike up that prolactin is every time you nurse your baby. So you have that nipple stimulation from your baby nursing, that's going to spike up your prolactin levels. So you're very, very unlikely to get pregnant if you are exclusively breastfeeding. So you're not going to be getting your periods usually. In fact, it happened to me when I was breastfeeding Samuel. For the whole year I was breastfeeding him, most of the time I did not get any periods. So it'll be the same for you too. And that also includes something that a lactation consultant shared with me, which I think is really important too, is if you give your baby a pacifier too, that's going to kind of mean that the baby's less on the breast, so less nipple stimulation, and that can also conflict there. And you can get pregnant because you're getting less nipple stimulation, and because every time your baby nurses or your baby's at the breast, even if it's just pacifying, that's going to spike up your prolactin level, so it's going to make you less fertile. So it definitely does work. It has worked for me, but there are cases, like I said, you have to kind of analyze your situation, because there are cases where it doesn't work. And if you find yourself like that sometimes you supplement with formula, or you pump a lot too, then things like that can kind of offset that effect of the high levels of prolactin, which are causing less fertility. So I just wanted to give you moms a little bit of a warning, especially if you don't want to have any surprises or you're not planning to get pregnant soon, because I do hear some crazy stories about moms like 1 month postpartum and suddenly they're pregnant. So you do have to be careful to analyze your situation and speak with your OBGYN too, just in case you don't have any plans, so that you can have a backup too. But so far for me, so far so good. I just started to introduce solids, and that time also, when you start to introduce solids, that's when your prolactin levels can drop also, because you're not making as much milk and you're not having as much nipple stimulation from your baby. So that's a time to be cautious too. And I do see a lot of moms, when they reach like the 6 month postpartum and start introducing solids, boom, that's when they get pregnant, or they get a surprise of another little one on the way. So just wanted to bring that, because I'm at that stage of my journey, so I like to share all these things that I'm going through and that I'm talking about. So let me know your stories. How has it worked for you? Has it been super, super effective? Are you having your periods even though you're exclusively breastfeeding? How is it working for you? Let me know, because I would love to know your stories. Okay, bye mommies, have a good day.